Welcome to my channel. I want to go over what seems to be a trend with these huge companies. What they are doing is they're spinning off a part of their business into a new company and getting rid of that part of their business so they can focus on what they deem is going to be the high growth future of their company. Those parts of their business that they think is going to really provide great future profits and growth. And so we're going to cover three companies: IBM, Johnson & Johnson, and Realty Income Corporation. And with these three companies, I think a lot of people own them. They're very, they're legacy companies. They've been around forever. And so let's dive into IBM. Now, IBM is spinning off its infrastructure services part of its business into a company called Kyndryl. And now IBM is going to focus on the cloud-based side of things and the artificial intelligence side of things. So this is where they deem and feel the growth is going to be in the future, and not with the infrastructure services side of things. So before we go forward with this discussion, let's hear from IBM's CEO himself.
Exclusive interview is IBM Chairman and CEO Arvind Krishna. Welcome, Arvind. Nice to see you.
Sarah, great to be here with you.
I know it's a big day and a big milestone for you, finally spinning off Kyndryl. Talk to us about what the new IBM looks like, and specifically some of the changes around the revenue exposure.
Sure, Sarah. Look, number one, we have now, with the spin out of Kyndryl, got the portfolio that allows us to grow. With Red Hat in the portfolio, many of the areas around automation, security, consulting, we have the correct portfolio to grow. Second, we really have changed and pivoted our go-to-market to be much more partner-centric. And with really big partners, whether it's Microsoft, Amazon, Salesforce, Adobe, and I can go on, we really get a chance to leverage a win-win-win for the partner, for ourselves, and of course, for our clients. And third and most important, we are generating the free cash flow we need to be able to reinvest back in the business while maintaining and growing our healthy dividends. So that's really what we're doing.
All right. So he's very excited about, this spin-off, and now IBM focusing on the cloud-based side of things and AI side of things. And he should be. He's the CEO. And so you, as a person watching, should take that with a grain of salt, because that's his job, right? Is to get people excited about this. Where I kind of start to not, I sold out of IBM a few weeks ago. And, why I did that is because I just don't see this company really turning things around. The CEO himself just said they expect only single-digit growth in the future. And maybe that's because they need a few years to get things together before they really implement things and they start seeing, the fruits of their labor. But, they have some good things going for them that other companies, I feel, would be putting out higher projections. So they have a profitable company they got, Red Hat. They are partnering with big, successful companies that are the likes of Adobe, Microsoft, Apple, Salesforce. They also have a new deal with McDonald's where they made a contract over artificial intelligence for McDonald's. So I think it's going to be creating a whole different drive-through experience for the customer with McDonald's, and they chose IBM. These are great things, yet IBM is still projecting mid-single-digit growth, even after the spin-off. Mind you, last quarter, their earnings were a miss. And so, to me, if you're a shareholder of IBM, you've had decades of kind of stagnant, growth, and, compared to the market, you've missed out on a lot. And so I think that this company has tried many things before to be bold and change things up, and it's never seemed to work out. And this might take a while to get off the ground. If it does, maybe a decade. And as a shareholder, I don't want to ride another decade of stagnant kind of stock performance. I want to be with a company that is innovating, has been innovating, has proven itself over and over, like a Microsoft. And so I also, this might sound harsh, but IBM is partnering with all these big players that are growth companies, successful companies. And so I see IBM as the weak link, and they're trying to link with these big companies to say, now, look at me, look at IBM, right? They're trying to prop their name out now by saying, we're doing all this and we're moving in the right direction. And maybe they are. I'm very hopeful for you guys who do hold shares at IBM that they will turn things around. I just think if they do, it's still going to be a while. I still think they have a lot to prove. They have a lot of negative things with their name when it comes to growth in the history, in their past. And so for me, I sold out because it's just not a ride I want to ride. You know, being that IBM, I don't see a huge growth company, even with all this change. I think it's going to take a lot for IBM to really change things around for itself. And so we'll see what happens. But I do think this is the right move for them. Let's just see what type of growth it does spur. Is it, a little bit of growth, medium amount of growth, or a large amount of growth like the other companies like Microsoft, Apple, all those companies have done for a long time now, almost their whole company careers. And so with that said, let's move right into Johnson & Johnson. Now, this is a new one that was announced. They're going to be spinning off their consumer division part of their business into another company. This includes products like Band Aid, Tylenol, and then their famous baby powder. Can you imagine in the future going to the store and not seeing Johnson & Johnson on those things anymore? It's going to be weird because our whole lives we've seen that. And so Johnson & Johnson is going to be focusing more on the pharmaceutical side of things and the medical devices. But I want you guys to watch this video real quick to kind of get the reaction from the media.
That Dow Jones is reporting right now. Johnson & Johnson, it says, plans to split into two public companies. It looks like they're going to be spinning off their consumer division sometime in the next 18 to 24 months, according to executives. They say they still haven't decided exactly how this split is going to work, but J&J is leaning towards a spin out at this point. Of course, the consumer companies, this is a big business. It's a $15 billion a year division. It sells things like Band-Aids, like Tylenol, like Johnson's baby powder. And you all know about all the lawsuits around Johnson's baby powder. I guess Alex Gorski was asked by the Journal if that was part of the reasoning. He said the reason they're making this change is because the customers and the markets have diverged so much in recent years, including during the pandemic. He said the lawsuits with the baby powder aren't part of that. Take a look at the stock right now. It's already up by 3%. Johnson & Johnson, $168. And guys, this comes after we just heard the news this week about GE splitting itself into three separately traded companies as well.
So as you can see, the market's reacting positive to this. Where IBM, if you look at their stock, it's not really doing anything still, but Johnson & Johnson, their stock has gone up with this news. And so again, this is a company that says, hey, our consumer division and our pharmaceutical medical device division are so far apart, we want to split them, as well as I feel their consumer division is probably so big and maybe it just doesn't have that high growth projection. So they want to get rid of that so they can focus on the growth, right? And so they're also getting a new CEO next year, which I think is exciting. That's always a good thing for a company, right? It keeps them innovative and new thoughts coming in, new changes. And so they're doing it for growth. And so I think this is a good move for Johnson & Johnson. I hold shares, so I'll let you know at the end of this video what I plan on doing. Now let's jump into Realty Income. This is a popular company with dividend investors. It's a REIT, and they have, announced that a while back that they were spinning off their office REIT portion of their business into a new company called Orion. And I actually should be receiving those shares of Orion, hopefully Monday, because I own Realty Income Corp. So you're getting shares. I think you're getting 1 share of Orion for every 10 shares of Realty Income. And so, this was a very smart move. I love this move because what did the pandemic do? It changed the office environment, I think, forever. And so they're taking their office properties and spinning them off into this new company, Orion. And I think that is so smart. Now Realty Income, can focus more on their higher growth sectors, where this office sector, I think they foresee, it's something that's not going to perform like it has in the past. I have a hybrid schedule. I work part of the week from home, part of the week at the office. And I know a lot of people and a lot of companies that are going with that model. I also know a lot of companies that are now going fully remote, right? That's how they're able to attract, employees now, because employees really got a taste of working from home, and it actually was proven to be positive. Even with my company, we were more efficient than ever before. There was nothing negative about working from home. I think, they were hoping maybe, hey, we can say it didn't work, so come back. But no, they're having to go into this hybrid schedule because I know working from home myself, I'm more efficient. I get a lot more done. I'm still able to communicate just fine with all my coworkers, and so it's been a very positive thing. And I'm able to get stuff done around the house. I'm more productive in the with my work and more productive at home. And so I just think it's a win-win. And so companies are integrating this now, and I think the office environment has changed forever. Let's not mention the metaverse, which might, be a virtual office reality in the future, but we won't go there right now. So I think Realty Income did a really good thing. They're getting rid of this slow growth portion of their business, just like Johnson & Johnson did and IBM. And as we saw, GE is possibly going to split into 3 different companies. So you have a lot of companies doing this. And so let's talk about what I plan on doing, okay? I'm going to be getting shares of Orion. And in the future, when J&J does have their spinoff, I'll probably be getting shares of their new company. Why are these companies spinning these portions of their business off? Because they deem them as slow growth, no growth, or not enough growth for their liking, right? So why would I want to keep those when I could sell them and reinvest them into, the company? So back into Johnson & Johnson, back into Realty Income, where the growth is going to be, right? I trust these businesses. I trust all the people working for them, that they know what they're doing. I also do my own research, right? And so with that coupled, I feel like they're doing this for a reason. Why would I want to hold on to the slower growth companies? Maybe some of you want to do it for diversification, and I think that's great if that's what you feel will help your portfolio. For me though, I want to get rid of those slower growth companies that they spun off and put my money back into where the growth is projected to be. And so that's what I plan on doing with these extra shares I get. It's just, of course I'll do more research before I actually sell and pull that trigger. But, if, the whole purpose of a CEO and the board of directors is to focus on growth and grow a company, and you see them getting rid of this portion, why would you want to keep that portion too? That's just my thought about it. Not to mean that those will be very unsuccessful. They could still be successful, but if you stick with the main company that's reorganizing itself into a higher growth company, why wouldn't you want to put more of your money into there? Maybe they're not as diversified, but they're still diversified companies. They're still legacy companies that have proven themselves over and over, minus IBM now for a while, which is why I got rid of them. But this is what I plan on doing. So reinvesting whatever I get of those new companies back into these companies that are, repositioning themselves and reorganizing themselves for growth. So a little thing here that I just want to talk about: Facebook changing its name to Meta, I think is a great deal. Now, Google changed to Alphabet, which proved to not help them at all. Nobody knows what Alphabet is, unless if you're in the investing, world. But I think Meta was Alphabet doesn't describe the company, right? Where Meta describes Facebook now. They're focusing on the metaverse. So my point being is, whether they're spinning off into new companies or changing their names, these companies are doing exactly what we want as shareholders, right? They are focusing on growth, on change, on innovation, and that's why I love to invest in the stock market, because these companies are working extremely hard with my money to grow it. And that's why I have full confidence in the stock market. If you watched my last video on, talking about stock market crashes, I highly suggest you watch that. You'll see what I'm talking about. But I have full confidence in the stock market and in these companies that are deciding to spin off, portions of their business to focus on the growth portions. So with that said, guys, I hope you like this video. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you next time on Mark's Finance and Fitness. Please subscribe and like this video. I'm really appreciative of your viewership. Have a great day.